heart of Africa lies a story that the world must never forget. A story not just of tragedy, but of strength. Not just of loss, but of hope. This is the story of the lost children of Sudan, thousands of boys and girls who walked through fire, hunger, and war, and still found a way to rise. Today, I want to take you on a journey, a true journey. One that began in the late 1980s when Sudan was torn apart by one of the longest and deadliest civil wars in modern history. It was a quiet morning in a small village in southern Sudan. Children were chasing goats, mothers were preparing food, and the sun was rising gently across the grasslands. And then, everything changed. The sound of gunfire cut through the air. Soldiers stormed the villages. Homes were burned, families scattered. For thousands of children, this was the moment their childhood ended. Boys as young as 5 and 6 ran for their lives, with no shoes, no food, and no parents. Many of them never saw their families again. These children would later be known to the world as the Lost Boys of Sudan. They didn't choose war. They didn't choose to be heroes. But the road ahead would shape them into something extraordinary. What came next was one of the most incredible and heartbreaking journeys of survival ever recorded. Imagine this: walking for weeks, then months, then years, across burning deserts and dangerous forests, walking under the scorching sun during the day and freezing winds at night, walking with no food, drinking mud water, eating leaves, surviving only on hope. More than 20,000 children walked out of Sudan. Some were only 7 years old. They walked more than 1,000 kilometers from Sudan to Ethiopia, then back to Sudan, and finally to Kenya. A journey that some historians compare to the biblical Exodus. Many children didn't survive, but those who did carried the memories of their friends forever. After years of walking, the children reached Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya, a place that became their new world. It wasn't an easy life. They slept in tents made of sticks and plastic. They ate 1 meal a day. They had no toys, no playgrounds, nothing that children should have. But something amazing happened. They did not give up. They created their own schools. They taught each other English, math, and science. Some became teachers even though they were just teenagers themselves. They built a community from nothing. They turned their pain into purpose. And they kept believing that their story was not over. In 2001, after more than a decade in refugee camps, the United States offered resettlement to almost 3,800 lost boys and lost girls. For many of them, this was the first time they had ever seen electricity, the first time they had ridden in a car, the first time they slept in a real bed. They worked in restaurants, factories, and schools. They studied hard. They learned a new language, a new culture, and a new life. Some became doctors, some became engineers, some became leaders and community organizers. Against all odds, these children, once barefoot and starving in the desert, grew into adults who inspired millions. Their story proved that circumstances do not define your future. Your courage does. The story of the lost children of Sudan is not just history. It is a reminder of something deeply human, that no matter how dark life becomes, no matter how impossible the road feels, hope can survive. These children lost everything, their homes, their families, their safety, yet they kept walking, they kept dreaming. They believed that there was a future waiting for them, even when the world tried to take it away. Their story teaches us that you are stronger than the challenges you face. You can rebuild your life even from the ashes. Pain can become purpose, and survival can become success. Today, Many of the lost boys and lost girls are giving back to their communities, building schools in South Sudan, supporting orphans, and spreading awareness of conflicts around the world. Their journey continues, and so does ours. Whenever you feel lost, whenever you feel like life is too heavy, remember them. Remember the children who walked across deserts with nothing but courage. Remember the hearts that refused to give up. Remember that hope is stronger than fear. This is not just their story, it is a story for all of us. A story that reminds us to rise, to continue, to believe, no matter what stands in our way.